Hey everybody, you know me. I love the horror genre, but something I haven't really mentioned is that despite all the scary movies I've seen, some video games have actually terrified me even more. Today, I'd like to go over 6 horror games that are actually scary. Only games I've played, and only ones I personally found scary. I could just get AI to rattle off some kind of best hits list and call it a day, but I'm not a hack, and I didn't write Wish. Anyway, here we go. First up is Resident Evil 7. Number 7 takes a spot because of how consistently unsafe I felt for several hours of gameplay. The environment is meticulously crafted into this foul, goopy site of decay. I was already on edge exploring the grounds of the house, and once inside, I was overwhelmed with the sensation of stepping into something depraved that didn't want me there. Because the main enemies heal, RE7 found a way to make the combat frightening even with weapons. The first-person camera keeps everything uncomfortably intimate. There is great work being done with lighting and the lack of it, like the sequence in the child's room. The anticipation built up in that room is nothing short of masterful. I've always appreciated the save points in Resident Evil games. A solitary typewriter with that soft, twinkly, melancholy kind of music. I think it's genius that one of them in RE7 is right above a staircase leading into darkness and danger. So you're safe in that room, but you're always aware that more horrors are a few steps down. I think that's brilliant. Most people will talk about the more iconic, high-energy moments, like the lady with the wasp diaper, or when the protagonist gives his wife a hand. Fantastic moments, like all of them. It's the spaces between the, let's call them boss fights, that got to me. That short courtyard between house and trailer is one of the most nail-biting locations in the game for me. Enemy attacks feel random and hard to spot in the dark. I had already been tenderized by Jack and his family, and now I was shaken and on my own. I really felt like I was there. So massive props to not just the visuals, but the sound design and enemy placement. Everything both in and around those houses had me constantly looking over my shoulder. And the fact that people play this in VR is just sadism. What is wrong with you guys? I love horror, but the hell with that. Next is the sci-fi horror Soma by Frictional Games. If you've played stealth horror games like Alien Isolation or Amnesia: The Dark Descent, the gameplay will feel familiar. You study the enemy patterns, you avoid confrontation, and you make love to that sprint key, because you're gonna need it if you suck at stealth. What sets Soma apart is the gorgeous and oppressive deep-sea setting and the recurring theme of existential dread. Coming across a robot who is so confident he's human. Like, what? Come on, man. Like, are you blind? Duh, I'm human. While he sits motionless in a pile of broken parts, abandoned and beyond all hope of repair. It's like the perfect midpoint between depressing and disturbing.
I see a machine, a robot talking.
What the hell are you looking at? I'm here. See?
The enemies are a mix of robots and humans who have been mutated by AI and the ocean itself. As you can imagine, they look horrifying. They also seem like they're in incredible pain. I saw this little turtle-like robot walking around, and I assumed that it was a friendly NPC. So I went over to talk to it, and it immediately started running after me and clomping his big metal feet all over the floor. That was the biggest reversal of fortune I think I've ever experienced in a game, and I don't know why I thought that he'd be friendly, but the game didn't really seem like a horror game up to that point. And then lastly, the one that really got me was the fog room. You have to set off this countdown sequence, and like an idiot, I thought I had to stand by the actual countdown sequence and press the button and just wait there, instead of being a smart person and just moving around and trying to avoid the enemy that's in the room. So I'm just standing there, it's getting closer and closer, and then finally I'm able to press the button and I bolt as fast as I can towards the stairwell. That enemy was on my ass. And the fact that Soma messes with your vision and audio when enemies are near told me that I didn't need to look and see how close he was. Overall, it's an effective combo. The thoughtful but morbid story, a beautiful but oppressive atmosphere, and gameplay that is scary both at 0 and to 60. It's a very intelligent game that made my heartbeat do very odd things. Next is Outlast. Like Soma, you have no weapons, and you need to maneuver around enemies rather than confront them. The main differences are the setting, being in an asylum for people on fucking Black Friday apparently, and how the horror is explored. You aren't delving into the meaning of consciousness and unforgiving world, but you're more like, holy shit, get me the hell out of here. That is a very consistent feeling you'll have in this game. Enemies don't skulk, they chase, and they delight in their chasing. It's high intensity and gory, and pretty much from the first jump scare, the game does not let you get comfortable. I did a video about games that would make great movies. An Outlast found footage horror movie is something that could have and should have been made yesterday. It's begging for it. Best of all, the game provides a good reason for the protagonist to keep filming. He's sent to document what's going on at the asylum, and the camera acts as night vision. Seriously, like, someone make this now. Lots of scary moments in the game, but for me, the two naked guys who pursue you are so demented. It's a game to them, and you can hear them hype themselves up in the background. Throughout the game, that's when I felt the most like Prey. Outlast is the more visceral horror experience on this list, and if you want a good and continuous scare, I say definitely play it if you haven't. Or, better yet, be a dick and make your friend play it and watch them jump.
We give him a running start.
There's an idea.
And when we kill him, we kill him slow.
Such patience.
I want his tongue and liver.
They are yours.
As a very young teenager with a PS2, my friends and I usually play James Bond Nightfire. Shout out to Nightfire's multiplayer for allowing you to change the health of players and enemies. If your pal was out taking a piss, you could drop his health down to -100 and watch him get one-shotted every 30 seconds. Classic. Another game we got for the PS2 was Silent Hill 2. My friend and I played it late at night with a walkthrough, and after an hour or so, we kept trying to give the controller to the other person. That's how creeped out we were. What is it about this game that is so disturbing? I can't point to just one thing, it's everything in combination. The fog, the music that I'm having trouble coming up with words to describe it. It really is its own vibe. The unsettling creature design and how sexually charged those creatures are. The story that's like one long tumble down a rabbit hole. When my friend and I got to that first apartment building, that's when we started passing the controller back and forth because neither of us had felt that uneasy playing a video game. The overall experience felt so ungrounded and strange. Nothing was introduced to us in a way we understood. Characters, enemies, story moments, none of it. And again, we had a walkthrough. So it goes to show not only the power of good presentation, but imagination. Trying to stir up new emotions in a player. If you can do that, you have them in the palm of your hand for horror. Silent Hill 2 is a classic game for a reason, even though the voice acting sounds like Amber Heard on half speed. The story is well paced and often powerful. Its use of theming is better than most horror films I've seen. And by infusing its horror with unpredictability and oddness at every level, it felt like walking through a slow nightmare. Next is Condemned: Criminal Origins. The best way to describe this one is like watching the movie Seven while playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots. The combat is heavily melee focused, and it's done with remarkable realism. Even without a vibrating controller, you can feel the impact of the hits, the heaviness of the swings. It makes every encounter insanely intense. It's a street fight in every way. It's fast and dirty and sloppy and mean. The story at its heart is a detective thriller. You gather evidence from crime scenes and try to locate a serial killer while trying to figure out why all these citizens have gone violently insane. The scariest section has to be the mall level. There's a sequence with mannequins that is so disturbing. You spot them around the mall, but at a certain point, they start following you. You never see them actually move, but every time you turn or jump down, you glance and there they are. What makes it extra effective is that up to that point, it's a game of grit and reality. So you're not expecting something that could almost be called supernatural. You feel like the game is tossing you up in the air and you don't know what to expect. It's an older game and definitely old looking, and I can't vouch for the final boss. But Condemned: Criminal Origins serves as a pretty wild combination of brutal action and twisted suspense. This is one to make you sweat. Last up is the most recent release on this list, and that's Amnesia: The Bunker. This thing is just terrifying. So in the game, you're trapped in a World War I bunker and have to find a way out after a tunnel collapse. You need to keep fueling the generator to keep the lights on, or use a portable light that works about as well as Jennifer Lopez trying to act down to earth.
With an orange drink, if you know, you know.
This would all be ominous but doable, except that there's a creature scurrying in the walls. It was genuinely hard to do anything more than explore one tiny area and then run like mad back to the safe zone before the lights went out. I understand some people watching this might think it's a hyperbole, might be thinking, pussy! That's fine, that's totally cool. We all have things that scare us more than others. But I'll say it, Amnesia: The Bunker got me good. There was essentially no middle ground with the fear. I was either nice and warm and happy in my safe zone, or petrified everywhere else. The bunker itself is a great setting. It's isolated and claustrophobic, yet with enough room to explore. It doesn't even matter much what the creature looks like, because the sounds it made, the threats it posed, all those holes in the walls it made forced me to expect the worst. It's always fun when you can trace the roots of horror. Silent Hill 2 is like being lost and wandering around the street at night. Condemned: Criminal Origins is like your first day in Los Angeles and realizing what the city actually looks like. Amnesia: The Bunker is like waking up in the middle of the night to the sound of rats crawling in the walls next to you. Except in this case, the rats are coming for you. I don't think I can put it any better than that. If you've beaten this thing, you've gotten so much respect from me. That about does it for some games that scare the crap out of me. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. Check out my playlist of horror movie recommendations and this cool montage I made about why video games are art. Subscribe, comment, I love all you guys, and thanks for watching.